Na huzuni rohoni mimi simbi nalia, namlilia Malebo amekata kuokoka. Nilizoimba ni nyingi nikimuonya Malebo, bado hajabadilika, sasa simbi nalia.
In the fast-paced world of internet trends, a song from decades ago suddenly took over East African social media. Millions of Gen Z creators who weren't even alive in the 1990s were suddenly singing along to a dramatic story about a stubborn man named Malebo.
Na huzuni moyoni mimi simbi nalia, namulilia Malebo amekata kuokoka. Nilizoimba ni nyingi nikimuonya Malebo, bado hajabadilika, sasa simbi nalia.
The voice behind the viral sensation belongs to Munishi, better known as Pastor Munishi. Once a powerhouse who ruled the East African airwaves, he vanished into thin air at the peak of his fame. What happened to the man who revolutionized gospel music? Why did he disappear, and where is he now? This is the deep dive into the extraordinary life of the accordion preacher. Long before he was a household name, Munishi was just a regular youth trying to survive. Born in Moshi, Tanzania, into a strict Roman Catholic family, he moved to Russia as a young man. He wasn't a musician yet. Instead, he made his living as a humble sign painter, brushing letters onto shop fronts and wooden boards. In 1980, everything changed. Munishi converted to Pentecostalism. In his new church, a fellow believer introduced him to an instrument that would define his entire destiny, the accordion. While most gospel music at the time relied on massive church choirs, Munishi saw a different path. He mastered the accordion and became a one-man army. In 1984, looking for a wider audience, Munishi packed his bags and crossed the border into Kenya. He was a stranger in a new country, but he possessed a brilliant mind for marketing. During lunchtime in Nairobi, he would set up giant speakers in public parks like Uhuru Park and Jivanji Gardens. He would pump his accordion, sing his heart out, and preach to anyone who would listen. Office workers on their lunch breaks gathered by the hundreds. Munishi didn't wait for record labels. He sold up to 1,000 cassette tapes a day directly to the crowds. Hits like Fashion Ni Yesu and Niko Chini ya Mwamba turned him into an absolute phenomenon. What made Munishi blow up wasn't just his catchy accordion beats. It was his complete fearlessness. In the 1980s and 90s, gospel music was polite, safe, and traditional. Munishi was none of those things. He used his music as a weapon of satire and confrontation. He aggressively attacked religious hypocrisy, openly mocking preachers who loved money more than God. He sang about societal vices, confronting alcoholism and prostitution head-on. But most dangerously, he sang about politics. In an era where criticizing the government could land you in detention, Munishi used his booming baritone to condemn bad governance across East Africa. He became the voice of the voiceless, loved by the masses but deeply feared by the authorities. By the early 2000s, at the absolute peak of his fame, Munishi's music stopped playing on the radio. The cassettes stopped appearing on the streets. The legendary preacher seemed to completely vanish. What happened? The first blow was political. Munishi released a highly controversial track titled Mpende Adui. In it, he broke the ultimate taboo. He actively urged Tanzanians to vote out the long-ruling Chama cha Mapinduzi party. He even boldly announced his intention to run for the Tanzanian presidency. The backlash was immediate. The Tanzanian government clamped down heavily on the album. Possession of the tape led to police harassment, forcing Munishi to retreat deep into hiding in Kenya for his own safety. But the political exile was only half the story. Behind closed doors, Munishi was fighting a deeply painful personal battle. For years, he poured his time, his finances, and his emotional energy into helping his son navigate a severe, heartbreaking struggle with drug addiction. The family crisis sapped his creative drive. Simultaneously, the music industry changed. Cassettes and CDs died, replaced by digital streaming and downloads. Left behind by the digital transition, Munishi struggled to monetize his massive catalog. The legend was slowly slipping into financial obscurity. Decades passed. To the older generation, Munishi was a nostalgic memory. To the younger generation, he was entirely unknown, until the internet stepped in. His classic track, Malebo, a dramatic story about a stubborn man who rejects salvation only for his life to unravel, was discovered by a new generation. Content creators on TikTok fell in love with the dramatic storytelling, the theatrical lyrics, and the infectious, bouncy accordion rhythm. The Malebo challenge spread like wildfire. The algorithm breathed new life into a track recorded decades prior, completely reintroducing Pastor Munishi to millions of young fans across Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. A forgotten legend was suddenly relevant again. So, where is the legend today? The reality of Munishi's current life is a poignant mix of struggle, resilience, and digital survival. After decades of living in Ngong, Nairobi, devastating floods severely damaged his compound, forcing him to permanently relocate back to rural Tanzania. Now in his senior years, Munishi has openly shared his financial hardships, pointing out that legacy artists rarely receive the royalties they deserve from modern digital streams. Yet, the fiery spirit of the 1990s preacher is far from gone. Today, he is highly active on TikTok, using the platform to preach, connect with fans, critique Tanzanian elections, and even engage in fiery online debates with other controversial preachers. Faustin Munishi's life is a testament to the power of a unique voice. He painted signs, commanded regular lunch-hour crowds, survived political exile, and proved that true art never dies. It just waits for the right algorithm to find it. He remains, forever, East Africa's ultimate accordion preacher.